I thought XV was going to say, you can call him whenever you want. You're just wrong.
Okay, and this is also just a chance to talk about how awesome Transformer toys are now.
That would be in character, yes.
Okay, so... Okay.
I stole this one from the Allspark anyway.
Yeah, let's go ahead and come back and bring the show to a close. Okay, so we are back with our topic. No, Transformers Prime was not our topic. We just wanted to cover that so that we can, be like
get
topical.
It out of us.
Yeah, get it out of us.
We are insane.
We are insane. So we will be back next week with like a full recap of the first 5-parter. But the topic this week, it's kind of true. I think, are the Transformers Classics toys, are they becoming outdated? I mean, they came out in what, 2006?
Yeah,
they did.
And we've had like a whole
long time ago.
Several generations of toys since then. Like, whatever you think about, the Drift characters, Toy's awesome. Blur is a good, good toy. The mold is fantastic. He's not necessarily the most, beautiful toy ever, but
I think Blur doesn't work as well with the guns as Drift did with the sword.
But they're so posable. Like all the toys that we're getting now are just, 10 years ago in the action figure, biz, posability became like the hot topic. Toys started becoming posable. There was a Spider-Man that had like 32 points of articulation. Yeah. But Transformers always lagged behind, and that it only makes sense because of the nature of how the toys, what the toys are. But now, oh my God, I mean, look at Blur. He has like 4 points of articulation just in his leg. That's more than like Blur, the original G1 toy, had, period.
Yeah, actually 4 points of articulation in the leg is pretty much standard for what we get in Transformers now.
Yeah, and of course...
You can basically count on that.
Yeah, and, a lot of the Classics molds aren't, I don't think, are really holding up that well.
Well, I mean, look at the Seeker mold, for one thing.
Yeah.
They're still reusing it, though.
They are, but it was almost a throwback when it first came out.
Yeah, it wasn't that far beyond the original mold, really.
I
mean, it went beyond it, but it's not like it's this quantum leap. I mean, they literally took the same ideas, the same principles of that original mold, and just applied some modern know-how to it.
Yeah, I mean that years ago. I mean, I postulated that it's like, why don't we just why don't we take the G1 style molds or models and just add articulation? There's no reason you can't. There's no reason when you pull a toy's leg out that it can't bend in 3 or 4 places as long as you shove it back into place and it stays like Hot Rod or like Blur even, and they're doing that now. It's insane.
I will say, what, they have one advantage of now that they have like kind of the rule that, hey, when we develop a mold for Generations or Classics or whatever, we want to make sure it's good for 2 characters at least. I think that probably promotes some degree of extra innovation.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you look at Trax, originally I was kind of lukewarm on Trax. I'm still not completely in love with Trax, but knowing that this toy is going to be Wheeljack and he's going to look completely different, and really the only difference is the head. Everything else is just kind of turned a different way and kind of twisted a different way, but he's going to look like a completely different toy. It's pretty amazing.
Actually, they're massively retooling the legs too.
Oh, well,
really?
Oh, really? Well,
yeah.
But the core toy is for the most part unchanged. The Sideswipe and Sunstreaker mold, same thing. For the most part unchanged. I mean, the fact that they go into their initial meetings knowing that or planning that probably forces them to be even more innovative with these toys at this point than, say, we're going to do another Prime or we're going to do just Bumblebee. I mean, it probably pushes them further from at the onset.
What of the Classics molds? Which ones have held up the best?
Jetfire, I would say.
I was gonna say Jetfire is like my least favorite of the. I mean, I'm not crazy about the Jetfire mold. I mean, it's okay.
No, how about Bumblebee?
Bumblebee's okay.
Bumblebee did pretty well.
It's not an awesome toy, but
it's not a bad
it's
one.
It's a solid toy.
Yeah.
I've always been real partial to that Prime mold.
Which one?
The Classics Prime mold, the Voyager one.
Okay, the Voyager. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's held up pretty well still, I think.
I've owned that mold 3 times, but I've never actually opened it. And Megatron is actually, I never got Classics Megatron. I hate myself for that, but he doesn't look. I've never actually played with it. How is it?
That's
You
fair.
can probably smack people with it.
I owed it to myself to get a Classics Megatron because of me and Gun Megatrons, and it's not bad.
No, he's not bad. I think everybody freaked out about him because he was a gun. So he had this big honeymoon when he debuted, where everybody loved him just because he was a gun. And I think he's aged okay.
He's got mold wise, it's still a decent mold. Not to mention it's a nice homage to the Action Master toy too with the colors, which a lot of people I think overlooked at first. They're like, "What's with the purples and oranges?"
Yeah.
Well, it's because he can't look like a real gun.
Yeah.
Second, hey, check it out. He looks like another old G1 Megatron now.
Hey, the chat brings up a good one, Mirage.
Mirage is a
Mirage.
fantastic
Oh,
toy.
yeah. Mirage is the
Yeah.
best thing to come out of Classics, hands down.
Who knew a Mirage toy would be that good and that well loved?
Yeah, the thing is, he's so skinny and spindly. You would think that he would just be loathed for that, but no.
Wait, Kilby, did you manage to break your Classic Mirage?
I did not break Mirage.
See, now that is a fantastic durable.
It's the first Mirage that I'd ever managed to not break, even counting Energon Mirage.
Ooh.
Never mind.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm awesome.
Wow.
Well,
I know how with Kilby when it comes to breaking toys. He does.
I do. Yeah, it's like an aura I have around me. So even the way that Hasbro's developing these toys, it's evolving so fast that even the Universe 2.0 are starting to look ragged by comparison.
I've been thinking about that for a little while, and it occurs to me I didn't think that much of the Universe toys when they first came out either.
Cyclonus is fantastic.
Yes.
Cyclonus
Yes.
Yeah.
unusual among that line.
I mean,
When you think of
Hound
Universe,
is great. I love Hound.
Sounds good.
I think when you think of Universe, you're more going to think of Sunstreaker and Prowl and Galvatron and Tankor.
That's fair.
All these stinky parts.
Yeah.
I mean, the Sunstreaker is okay, and I understand why it gets a lot of reuse since there is the two possible robot modes. Plus, it's probably the nicer of the two basic cars they did. But I don't ever want to see that Prowl mold again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly took Universe 2.0 for granted. Because it's just like, okay, I just bought them. I wasn't excited or anything. It's just, okay, cool, a Sunstreaker that isn't Red Prowl. Okay, yay. I was just happy to get them. But then by the time the 25th logo came out and all the really impressive ones came out, I was like, holy crap, these are awesome. Inferno, yeah, Clash, yeah, Hound, way. And it's like I completely forget that the first batch of those is part of the same line. It's like, yay, Octane.
Octane, oh god.
Oh,
Octane.
boy. Oh,
yeah.
boy.
Poor
a new
Galvatron.
Octane. Oh, yeah, and then Galvatron, that was like, who was not excited? Like, yes, a new Galvatron, finally. What the fuck did I just buy?
Rob.
I'm sorry, that's not anger.
I think that's appropriate in
Yeah.
this case. I like the Galvatron toy, but I'm making no pretense that it's good.
No, it's nice to put on the shelf and don't touch.
That's exactly what I'm doing with it. I'll say this. Universe 2.0 Onslaught is one of my most favorite toys ever. In the sense that G1 Metroplex is one of my most favorite toys ever. But it's not that it won't be outdated at some point compared to the generation stuff that's coming out. I mean, it's starting to show, its age too. It's nice and it's posable, but it doesn't do anything.
I think part of that might be the sculpts too, because the sculpts for the generation stuff is it's a little more detailed sculpting. Like, look at Cup; he's got a much more true to the cartoon face. Or he's got much more of a emotive face. While like Generations Water, it's just dull sprites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sculpting's a little more simplistic in order for them to look like the old G1 characters. They made them look like it. And here, like Retgar, they're like, you know what? They know it's Retgar. Let's go to this. There's all this detail in the sculpting. I think that might be a big part of it too, because for once we're getting G1 characters that are not. Well, by necessity or on intention, simplistic looking.
Right.
And that's just theory, but
No, I agree.
And, well, I mean, it's fair to say, too, that with every pass at this, they're refining the art of remaking these classic characters.
well, you
know,
can only
every
make so
time-
many damn crimes before you get good at it.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah.
At some point, right?
Yeah.
You got to be good at it. Yeah. Rob brings up a good point, though. Like the fact that they're copying. Actually, you know, as they go along, they're copying more closely the original designs and the original molds. So, you know, the side effect is, yeah, they are going to become like more boring. It's not like they take any risks like they did with Grimlock, or like you say, you know, with Rekgar. They don't do that for the most part.
But they sure did take a risk with Cheetor there, didn't they, guys?
Oh,
Oh,
not even fair.
I told
Or Dinobot.
Cyclonus were unusual.
I'm pretty sure if that was just a simple stand-up transformation, we wouldn't have heard any complaining now, would we?
Yeah.
No. Hunchbacky. He's got throwing stars in a club. I'm fast. Wow.
That's awesome.
Which reminds me, Hotshot.
Yeah, Hot
I
Shot.
like Hot
He's
Shot. He just
okay.
wasn't-
Yeah.
Well,